Good morning, everyone, and welcome replay viewers, and welcome back to Eastern Long Island, New York on this beautiful Sunday, May 7th. Again, the temperatures are going to get up into the low, possibly even mid-70s here on Eastern Long Island. Lucky Dog, good to see you. Thank you for joining this morning. We're going to take a walk down to the Purple Martin houses and see what's going on down there. There was a little bit of activity yesterday. We had arrival of new, or I should say additional birds back from their South America trip. Good morning, Andrea. Good to see you. Oh, lucky dog. So you have the day off from the hospital today. Well, good for you. Yeah, enjoy this day. It'd be a good day to take a walk over to the beach, to Smith Point. As a matter of fact, if I get ambitious, I might do that for a little bit this afternoon, but we'll see how the schedule works out. Let's see, who else is with us? Jacob. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Let's take a walk down toward the Purple Martin houses and see what we can see. Now, I hope we don't get signal dropouts here. I'm operating on the house Wi-Fi, the Apple Airport Extreme unit I have in the house. And that has a range of about 150 feet, so hopefully we'll be able to have the link from the iPhone to that. Or possibly, if I get out of range of that, then the cell service will kick in. But this is unfortunately for us, this is a rather weak area for cell service. And it doesn't matter who the carrier is, because I started out life with Verizon. That was pretty bad here. I switched over to T-Mobile a few years ago, and there was a little bit of improvement, but not so much in this particular area down here where we are. But we'll see. We'll find out. And of course, what I can always do is, after the fact, take this live broadcast video off of the camera roll of the iPhone and then put it up as a regular YouTube video. If I do less talking, I think we can hear some of the birds chirping in the background as they're on the houses and they're flying around doing their mid-morning feeding. Oh, lucky dog. That's an interesting thing that's going on. Well, congratulations for that. What kind of small business? Yeah, so Andrea, you have problems with Verizon also, eh? Yeah. Okay, today I have the iPhone mounted in the Osmo stabilizer, gimbal stabilizer, Osmo 6, DJI Osmo 6, I believe it's. That's not quite the name they use now, but we'll try this out. So this should keep our image pretty fantastic. Oh, florist and mastic. Okay. Hey, that's really neat. Well, all the very best to you and the family on a new business venture. Okay, we're about halfway down the front yard here from the house. Well, not quite halfway. And it looks like we still have signal strength for broadcast going out. Oh, okay. The person who has the florist now is retiring and taking it over. How nice. Yeah, I get over to Mastic. Yeah, this is looking out toward the south, toward the Moriches Bay and Fire Island Barrier Beach across the way. We're about 60, well, let's make it about 62, 63 miles east of New York City. 43 years. I'm trying to think, where's the florist located? Is it on Montauk Highway? Lucky Dog, is it up on Montauk? Yeah, come on, birds, come on back. You were all here active and everything, and now you've taken off. Let me see if I can get closer to the houses. Maybe they'll start flying back to the houses here. And my good friends on the YouTube broadcast world, I have the chat window set up where today I can read your chats, read your comments to me, so hopefully we'll keep that going here today. Leanne, how about that? Oh. Okay, birds, where are you? We're practically looking into the sun. Oh, here comes a group back now flying around the houses. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. So not all of the purple martins that are part of these colonies have returned yet. They're still migrating north. That migration will continue through May, sometimes into mid-June. Then by June 15th or so, the last of the birds have shown up for the season. Yeah, Broglio, today, the last 2 days here, just absolutely gorgeous. Well, we deserve it though after the last few weeks of the below normal temperatures. And except for a few showers overnight forecast, it's supposed to be another 70-degree day tomorrow, and in the 60s, maybe even to 70 all week this week. So finally some May weather for eastern Long Island. Okay, purple martins. They've already started to pair up for the season, which is what they do. These birds that are here now are what we call the mature purple martins. ASY, which means after second year, male and female. So they will pair up for the season here and they mate, and they will raise a brood of purple martin chicks in the houses. Boy, you can tell how dry the air is by the contrails from the overhead jets at cruising altitude. There's not much of a contrail behind that jet probably heading to Europe. Oh, low 80s, Andrea, for the city. Yeah. Well, usually this time of year we're about 10 degrees less than New York City as far as high temperatures for the day. There they go. As I said, there's about a dozen right now of the ASY birds after second year. And now who will be arriving over the next 4 to 5 weeks will be birds that were born last year in the general area here. And they're known as SYs, or second year birds. So they were born here, not necessarily at this spot, but within, say, a mile or two radius. And they've made their fall trip to Brazil. And if they survive the Brazilian summer down there, our winter obviously, if they survived in Brazil over the season there, and then the migration back north, then this will be their first season of nesting and having little baby birds themselves. Now, studies have shown that the purple martin average lifespan for the mature birds is about 8 years, sometimes as much as 10. Now you think at least 8 or 10 round trips to Brazil. That's quite an accomplishment for these little feathered friends of ours here. So that kind of makes them special. And the other thing that makes them special, as North America's largest swallow, is their insect eating ability. So as aerial insectivores, they are literally cleaning the air of flying insects. There they go. And when they all take off like that, it's what I would call a communal feeding flight. But they just love to fly too. Now, within the next few weeks, the male and female pairs will, the female will start laying eggs in the cavities. And you can see from my two housing complexes here, there's 10 wood house cavities per site, plus the 4 plastic gourds underneath. So there's 14 nesting cavities per site for a total of 28. We usually get quite an occupancy rate. At least 25 of the 28 cavities are occupied. We'll see how this season goes. So they will claim a cavity for a nesting site. The female will lay a clutch of eggs, 5 to 6 eggs for the mature birds, maybe 3 to 4 for the second year birds. And it takes, from the time the last egg is laid, then it takes 16 days to incubate them for the eggs to hatch. And usually the eggs hatch all within 1 day of each other. Over a 1 or 2 day period, all the eggs will hatch. And that means all the baby birds, and they're basically the same age. And then from this little tiny pink baby bird that comes out of an egg, It takes another 4 weeks for it to develop into a full-size purple martin. So for the next 4 weeks after the eggs hatch, the parents are busy 12, 14 hours a day feeding little ones inside the cavities. Okay, let me just stay stationary on this particular house. You can see on the two upper porches of the house to the right and the house to the left. So those are birds that have paired up for the season, male and a female, mature martins. Let's look over at this other house. Here's another pair over here on the lower porch. Okay. There they go. Let me back up a little bit. Hopefully we're still broadcasting here. I don't see any comments coming in now. Let me see if I can zoom in on something here for you. Okay, you see that platform right in the middle there? It contains pine needle nesting material that I put in that tray. And what the birds will do is they'll periodically fly down and grab some pine needles to refurbish their nests. Well, when we first put these houses up in April, before the birds arrive, I pack each cavity with dried pine needles to get them started as far as nesting material. And then when a bird pair take over a cavity, they will reshape the pine needles in there into a circular nest, and then they will look for material to keep refreshing the nest. So that's why I put the pine needles there. The reason for that is to reduce the amount of energy that they need to spend with nest building and nest maintenance, and therefore they can put more of their energy and efforts into raising the little babies. So that's what we as humans do to help these guys out here and keep the bird species going. Okay, let me zoom back out. All right, we'll leave it at that. Okay, birds, thank you for hanging around for us. And we'll just pan the area here slowly. We also have a Canada goose family over there in the distance. Oh, one next train video. Well, I'm definitely going to be out in West Hampton on Friday of Memorial Day weekend for the first cannonball of the season. I'll see if I can do any train videos before that, but that's the next one I was planning, to start the summer season with the Friday night cannonball on Friday, May 26th at West Hampton Beach. There'll be a few other rail buffs out there for that. And we'll probably try to document this summer's Cannonball Friday night trains throughout the summer season. Oh. Speaking of trains, there's a Long Island Railroad train going through town right now with the diesel horn. Let's see if we hear that horn again. (9:25), approximately 9:27. This is probably the Sunday morning train to Montauk, heading through our area right now. Yeah, it depends upon what type of horn they have on these DM and DE engines. I think there's 3 different types. Some engineers really lean on the horn, and others just give short toots at the crossings. I guess the Federal Railway Agency requirements are for passenger trains, probably freights too, long, short, long at each railroad crossing. So toot, 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 toot. And some engineers, depending upon the time of day also, will either give you longer lasting blasts, or they'll just give you short toots. Well, that's a good question, Andrea. Andrea, if you want, I would say, since most people are saying, we're past the COVID crisis. I mean, I'm not totally out of it, I guess, but since most of it's behind us now, I would say there's going to be more traveling this summer, more traveling to the East End. So I would say the trains are going to be more crowded this summer. The weekend Hamptons trains, but we'll find out. Yeah. Bro, I agree with you. I think they're going to be bigger crowds this year on the trains, but we'll find out. Wow, this is beautiful, beautiful morning. Hey birds, thanks for hanging around the houses here for us. Okay, and then thanks for a communal flight demonstration. Another thing I should point out is that now in the United States, east of the Rocky Mountains, because there is a West Coast martin species, they're slightly smaller than the Eastern America version. They still pretty much nest in natural cavities. For instance, in Arizona, they nest in the holes in the saguaro cactus, things like that. But east of the Rockies, 99.9% of these birds require human-provided housing now. There are very few, if any, in a matter of fact, in this area, of natural cavities left over for these birds to nest in. So once they adapt to houses provided by us, or nesting sites provided by us, then they will repeatedly come back to these sites for, if they've had a successful breeding season, for their lifespan, which I say is probably 8 to 10 year lifespan for the mature birds. And as a function of these birds adapting to human housing, human supplied housing, they've pretty much come to depend upon us, and almost, they're not tame birds. Look, I'm not trying to say that. It's still a wild animal, but some theories are that they're almost semi-domesticated, that they look for the human presence because they know I'm going to be chasing away predators. Like if a hawk comes into the area, I'm down here in a flash to chase hawks away, because a hawk will try to take the smaller birds on the flight. We make sure that there are no feral cats climbing the houses or things like that. So that's why I can get so close to these houses. And actually I could get a little closer, probably even stand right under the house, but I don't want to risk losing the broadcast signal, because experience has told me that a little further down we start getting buffering of the signal. Oh, that's interesting, Andrea. Let me make sure I'm understanding what you're telling me. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, as far as the trains we're going to cover, like the Cannonball, still will be operating from Penn Station, because the diesel equipment, the dual mode equipment, cannot get the diesel equipment, and cannot fit through the East River tunnels that were built back in the 60s or 70s when this project was first proposed. So all dual mode diesels like Cannonball will still run from Penn Station. But I wonder, again, I haven't seen the schedule. In the past, Cannonball has not stopped at Jamaica. It's gone express from Penn Station to West Hampton Beach. But I wonder if now they'll make a Jamaica stop, perhaps to pick up people who might be traveling from Grand Central. I don't think so, but it may happen. When we see the schedule, we'll certainly find out. Now the afternoon train, what used to be 2708, and we refer to it unofficially as the Advanced Cannonball, the one that runs from Hunters Point Avenue, that always stops at Jamaica. So that could pick up people from coming from Grand Central. Let's take a look out this direction. Okay, there's some bird activity at my neighbor's purple martin house, just to the right of that cedar tree in the middle of the photo, in the middle of the image. So there's a few birds hanging around there. Okay, gang, I want to thank you very much for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed this short little live broadcast here. And our friends, the Purple Martins, have certainly cooperated for us put on a show for us. So everybody who's with me this morning, with us together, thanks again for joining. And we'll be back on the air one of these fine days. Okay, so I'll say goodbye to everybody now and have a great day wherever you are. Take care, folks.